It looks like I am live today. It's Monday. Happy Monday, folks. It's 10:30. I have a dog. I am a woman. You are human. Welcome to this space and time together. Today we are going to be talking about a challenging and worthwhile topic. I'm even nervous just saying it out loud. The topic is how to choose your body when it feels impossible. Welcome, welcome. People are coming in. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to have you here. Type in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? Or, as I like to say, where are you chuming in from? Chiming and tuming. You put them together. Chiming in from, tuning in. Where are you chuming in from? Welcome, welcome. My name's Renee. I have a dog named Marcus. Oh, he's right there. As people are coming in and give me some feedback. First of all, can you hear me? Can you see me? My internet was a little bit wonky this morning. I had to restart my entire computer at like 2 minutes before I was planning to go live. So I would love to know if this connection is working for you. So let me know if you're here. Let me know where in the world you are coming in from. It's one of my favorite things about doing these lives, honestly, is getting to connect literally with people from around the world. I have people from India, Scotland. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I have people as close as Denver and Boulder and everywhere in between. I don't think I have anybody yet from South America. So if you have a South American friend, come on and invite them in. So crickets today, that's okay. I'm really getting used to crickets, but I know I see you here. I'm glad you're here. Whoever you are, you matter. You're important. Whether you're watching live or later, you have something to say and it matters. And I care. Just like Marcus. You guys, he has a few things he wants to share. Marcus, come here. He's a little bit annoyed because I already faked him out with treats. So, okay, we're working on a new trick. How do we want to do this with the camera here? Awana, good to see you, my friend. Marcus, up. Come on up. Up. Awana, where are you coming in from? Last time it was South Wales. Marcus, up. Come on. Hey, there we go. This is Marcus. Oh, okay. So Marcus has a few things he wants to say. First of all, he's going to say, oh my God. Okay, this is Marcus. He's going to say he doesn't always like cuddling on demand. He has a couple things he wants to show you. Number one, St. Patty's Day is coming up. So he's wearing a lovely green bandana, pot of gold, luck of the Irish, all those things. So he's wishing that to you. Oh, you're so cute, boy. And he also has a new necklace on, some Tiffany's jewelry. Not really. It's actually a helpful prong collar. But somebody this morning at the dog park was like, ooh, is that a Tiffany's? Because they were very excited about his new jewelry. And North Wales, welcome. Good to see you. Marcus sends his snuggles and warm hugs to you, Awana. And the last exciting Marcus adventure, this is all like this morning in the last 2 hours. Marcus met a feline this morning. This cat was walking around the neighborhood. And I was like, ooh, really nervous, like holding him back because I really like cats and I want Marcus to get along with cats. And the first time he met a cat, it totally swiped at his face. So he's been a little like gun shy on the cat situation. But this morning, this cat was like free roaming about the neighborhood. And Marcus really wanted to go say hi. And so I was like, okay, I might post a little video on it because it was so, so cute. He was totally, they were sniffing one another and like, like how they sniff their body parts and like kind of walking around one another and trying to figure out what the other one was. And then Marcus like got down in his play crouch and he's like, whoa, and he barked at the cat, which is like, I want to play with you. And the cat's like, oh my gosh, you're a lot, but okay. And so the cat's kind of like wandering around. It was really, really sweet. So I'm just sending all of that like fun, playful energy your way. And here's the other thing from a nervous system perspective. I had this like negative expectation that this is not going to go good. And I had the opposite experience. And it's an interesting thought for you. Like, what is your nervous system expecting? And expecting that it's going to be negative or bad, and then it's good. That's really worth paying attention to and wiring into your nervous system, which is why I'm telling it to you, because when I share something, I learn something. And it's really nice to have these pieces of lived life experience that can act as credible evidence to prove your nervous system wrong in a very loving way. The nervous system is just so like, in my experience of my own nervous system, on guard, defended, protected. Anything could be bad and wrong. And while that's true, what's also true is that good things can happen. So, your SN, sympathetic nervous system, is that what you mean by SN? Fairly verkeerd. Owana, my SN thinks play is bad. I don't know what SN is. Tell me what SN is. And I validate it. Like, that's normal. That's fair, right? These nervous system expectations are predicting, they're making predictions. I am a clinical scientist, and I'll introduce myself in a second here formally, but I am trained to use the scientific method in my thinking, which means that I am always seeking out the objective truth. Nervous system. Okay, this is fun. Owana wrote, my SN thinks play is bad. And SN is like system nervous. Sure, of course, a nervous system that's nervous is going to think play is bad. What's also objectively true is that nervous systems can experience play as good. I'm a big fan of graded exposure, right? And what's objectively true is that nervous systems can experience life through a very diverse set of lenses. The challenge is that we get really comfortable in certain modes of operation within our nervous system. And then we make the mistake in our thinking that our subjective experience is objectively true. So your subjective experience, totally valid. Like, your nervous system thinks play is bad. Of course it does. It probably had a terrible experience where play or closeness or proximity didn't go well. And that sticks and gets stored in your nervous system. And then it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's valid, and it sucks, and it's hard, and it's fair, and it's unfair. And I validate all of that as true, which is why I share the dog playing with a cat story, because I know the nervous system that thinks play is bad. I can remember very specifically a memory when I was a kid and my dad was tickling me and it was violently painful, and yet I kept laughing. And so he kept tickling, even though I'm yelling and screaming, no, 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 stop. He wouldn't stop, right? He had no bad intentions of harming me. But my nervous system experienced that single memory as harmful. And that single memory registers that touch, play, proximity, a man on top of you is bad. And I'm working actively every day to validate my nervous system, but also expose it to other experiences and environments that are safe, credible pieces of evidence that maybe not all play is bad all the time. Oh, Dojo, have a good time, fairly verkehrt. Marcin, You are a new name to me. Nelly. Lala Nelly. I just saw a beautiful comment from you. You guys, you girls, you people, you humans, you alienoids, whoever you are, when you leave me comments, it touches me emotionally and it warms my soul. It's like this external validation. And I have internal validation as well. It's good to have them both. Marcus is going nuts because I still have the treat in my hand, not in his mouth. But this, like, when you leave comments for me about how this work impacts you for both good and bad, I love it. Like, I love the good because it fuels me to keep doing this. This is not always easy for me. And so the positive reinforcement from you all is helpful. And even the negative reinforcement is great feedback because it lets me think differently and make things better and see things in a new way. So please and thank you. I love your comments, both here and in the lives, in the comments. Watch them later. Marcin, oh my God. See, I almost want to cry, Marcin. Like, you've been watching my channel for the last 6 months. That's amazing. It makes me so happy. Like, I don't know that. I just do this work because there's a lot of internal motivation to do it, but the external motivation is helpful and it blows this channel into more wider reach. So please and thank you for your comments, your watching, your sharing. Tony Lala Nelly. Are you a Tony that I know personally? Tony, where are you chooming in from? God, I think that might be my most favorite new word. Yes, Lala Neil, Tony, the basic exercise of like turning the eyes has changed my life. I think, yes, you were the one that said it changed your gut. You're making me think I should share it with my neighbor. You have a powerful story, right? You had neck pain and then you did this exercise and it made your gut all the better. If that isn't proof that the system of our human experience is connected, I don't know what is. CH Dante, I want to give you and the universe a hug with that comment. Thank you, Renee. You help me better communicate with the universe. Oh my gosh. Stay tuned. I am planning out my next lives, and I'm going to be talking about probably in a month or so how the left brain is waffles and the right brain is spaghetti, which is very much connected to the universe as spaghetti. I am such a wildly creative and very weird human. So, CH Dante, I'm so validated and glad to hear that I help you. Oh. So CH Dante, as you communicate with the universe, you might destroy it. That's fair. I think there's plenty stuff that needs destroying. Okay, let's do one more trick. Marcus, up. Come on up. Up. I know I'm making him crazy with this thing. You sit. Good boy. You shake. Oh, there's a good shake. Other hand. Yes. Okay. You spin. Oh, spin. Yay! Good boy. Let's give Marcus a round of applause. Conrad, you're very good at rolling your eyes. It's interesting that you say that. I've been playing around with like how to tone the vagus with different eye movement and direction. Marcin, CH Dante, Scott Lee. It's really good. Here's a little trick. Gosh, I need to do formal introductions, but I like the good stuff. So, formal introductions next, I promise. Eye turning. Here's what I've been playing with eyes and neck. Ooh, really, really slow, really, really coordinating, looking up and then letting my head follow. And I'm imagining one vertebrae at a time, right? Like I'm picturing the cervical vertebrae and just kind of like slowing down and letting that smooth coordination happen. And then when I get to the top, maybe breathe in or out or don't. Just playing with your eye movements and then turning your eyes the other direction, letting the eye gaze go first and letting the body follow. And it's almost like I turn my eyes like a clock inward. And then I slowly, 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 one vertebrae at a time, kind of unfold. And when I pay attention for me and my nervous system, it brings up all sorts of like breath hiccups and digestive issues. And it makes me realize how locked up my own neck has been, and I can feel like there's a block right there. It's right about like C3 or so. And so I've practiced tuning into my body, and I can feel, I sense, I know, who knows, the like individual vertebrae moving. And so Scott, play around with that, with like eyes moving with your neck. Right, and I get stuck at certain places, and so it's just fascinating for you to notice, where do you get stuck in your eye movements up and down? And then when you're at a place of getting stuck, just kinda hang out at the edge or at that border and maybe, like, move up and down a little bit with your eyes. And then kind of nod and nudge that edge. It's kinda like you're flirting with the edge, and then, it kind of convinces the vertebrae, the muscles holding the vertebrae to maybe unlock a little bit. And so that's good. You can play around with that. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. I think it's also helpful to do it with rotation. Um like looking first, right? Because where the eyes go, the body follows. And if we slow it down, we can really kind of break out of these habitual reactionary patterns. And so I do it with rotation too, like eyes first, and putting the tongue in the cheek, and then letting things follow. I'm so far off track, everybody. Conrad, I've always had this one position in my life when I look sharply at about 7 o'clock that makes me totally dizzy and not nauseated. Conrad, oh, it's so good. Here's what I would do if I was you. That's a racer quote. What's a racer quote? Tell me, Scott. I want to hear it. I value what you have to say. Oh, Kent from UK. Tony, I don't know you. Thank you all for putting up with my like scattered everywhere. I do like focusing, but sometimes there's like this rhythm between contraction and expansion that needs to happen. So when I go into contraction and focus, sometimes we need to expand a little bit. So back to Conrad. Scott, tell me what you mean by the racer quote. Conrad, here's what I would do, right? Think graded exposure. Like I don't start training for a marathon with a 20-mile run. I start with a 2-mile run. Sorry if you can hear the dog and have sound sensitivities. He's very conscientious about misophonia and hypercussus, the sound sensitivity. Where the eyes focus, the body goes. Yeah, it's true. It relates to skiing. It relates to human movement. I like to ski. I live in Colorado. When I ski through the trees, don't look at the trees because you'll run into them. Look at the white stuff, and then that's where you'll stay. CH Dante, there's a yoga move that's similar like that. Yes. Oh my gosh. When you add eyes, neck, and sounding phonation, you're like vibrating all of this stuck sympathetic arousal, fight, flight, freeze. You're like vibrating it back into health. Hashtag healing happens, my friends, like dynamic equilibrium. Don't look at where you don't want to go. It will hurt. Scott, that's such a beautiful thing. Like, don't look at where you don't want to go. It will hurt. And I validate that 1,000%. It's true. And to link it back to Conrad, who's totally relating here, there's sometimes in life where we need to go, where we have to go, like down at 7 o'clock. Like if I want to check something there, like it is in my best and highest good if my eyes can go into that 7 o'clock, right? Like I would love to believe that all directions and movements of life are available to me. I would love that. I would love that for me. I would love that for you. Because there's this quote by Michael Singer, if you're okay with everything, then everything's okay. right? And if my eyes are okay with any given direction of my own like clock, right? If I can move in any given direction, if my neck can go with my eyes in any given direction, if I can use my voice in any given direction, at any given speed, slow or fast, I cannot think of a more free way to live. I just can't. Marcin is 10 meters. Oh my gosh. Marcin, I wish I was with you. I had a cool thing. I mean, I love my office, but you're 10 meters away from Big Ben in London on a bus. You're probably a lot further away by now because you wrote the comment quite a long time ago. But how cool. I love YouTube lives, folks. Oh, your comments, you're amazing. Rona's chiming in. I still have to complete the loop with Conrad. I'm tracking. Rona Winona. That's a fun little tag name. I've been having tension in the right side of my body from my jaw down to my pelvic floor. Good God, I can totally relate to that suck. And nothing has worked to release it. It feels like something is stuck, just the right side. Oh, Marcin's stuck in traffic. So we're still at the Big Ben. It's like, what was that movie where they're stuck in, somebody help me out here. Look, kids, Big Ben. Look, kids, Big Ben. Like the Christmas Vacation. Help somebody. This is so funny. You all are like in a bus. Awana's on a bus. We're all on a bus. Look at us all together. Look, people are stuck in a bus. People are stuck in the right side of their body. And people are stuck in a right 7 o'clock eye gaze movement. All of this stuff is so fascinating. Creation coach, welcome. You're tuning in here with us. I love it. I'm going to get to your comment in a second. I want to close the loop on Conrad, this idea that you're stuck somewhere in the right side of your body. I promise I have a topic today. It is planned. I still need to do formal introductions and disclaimers. We're going with the flow of this expansive life nature. So I'm tracking a lot of things here. Kevin, all alone in London. That's a good guess. Chevy Chase, that's European Vacation. That's the one I'm thinking of. I think they're stuck in a roundabout in London. Look, kids, Big Ben. Maybe it was France and I'm getting it wrong, but it's definitely Chevy Chase. CH Dante, thank you for you jogged loose my stuck, right? Wherever you're stuck, we need one another to help us get unstuck. Sometimes our nervous system can get so horse blinder effect to our own system that it isn't until another system can see us differently can we like get out of the horse blinders and jump out of the stuck rut that we're in. So earlier, somebody's stuck in this it hurts when I look sharply down to my 7 o'clock. I'm going to my right side, just like Rona's stuck on the right side, right? A right eye gaze here is a smaller area of stuck than Rona's entire right side of the body. But I think the mechanism is the same in getting unstuck. First of all, you're probably frustrated, annoyed, scared, worried, concerned about it. I want to validate all of that. That's really a real struggle that I can relate to in myself and in other people. And so I just want to invite an offering that another possibility is available to you. And I know that's true because that's what the scientific method tells us. The objective fact is our nervous system is 100 billion neurons with 100 trillion connections. Anything is possible. And when I doubt that objective truth, I lean into co-regulating with Dr. Robert Scare. He's a neurologist that wrote a couple great books on trauma. And I went to a course of his, and somebody asked about, what about this condition? I think it was like fibromyalgia or something, Lyme disease. I don't remember, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, you're just never going to get better because it's so bad. It's so terrible. They said, what about that? Can that heal? And Dr. Robert Scare, I witnessed in this trauma training, he says, of course it can. It's the nervous system. Anything can heal. Neuroplasticity is real. So, Rona, I offer to you that your right-sided stuck stuff can become unstuck. Angry Peach is here. Welcome, my dear. It's good to see you. Oh, okay. Tony, I remember who you are now. I'm going to finish this loop. Okay, let's say you have a stuck place in your eyes, right? That 7 o'clock, it's sharp. So here's what I would recommend. By the way, I'm Dr. Renee Ostertag. Maybe start. Let's say my eye gaze direction here is stuck. Okay, so I can look there. And then just find my breath and kind of toggle down towards 7 and come back out. And toggle towards 7 and come back out. And just doing that elicited a yawn in my own nervous system. And I can feel connected to more calm energy, right? So I'm kind of approaching 7 o'clock, which is proven past experience to be like a threat. And so I'm just approaching it in a safe way with my eyes, and I'm coming out of it. And you're seeing my body respond to that. It's like when this was a past threat, and I always go into it in my kind of aggressive, and I'm not saying you're being aggressive, but many times we're so devoted to healing that we like go head, nose first straight in, and that can be too much for the nervous system. So we got to pace it, don't race it. And so, like, pacing your way down to 7 and see if you can find a little softer interaction with that 7 o'clock. Right. And now my system is having a really deep relaxation response as I soften into that 7 o'clock. I'm yawning, I'm swallowing, I'm sighing. Okay. And so that's my way of desensitizing that high arousal reaction to that 7 o'clock. Okay. You could also approach it from the other angle if that feels better, right? So let's say this is 3 o'clock. Nope. Oh my God, my clock is all jacked up. Let's say this is 9 o'clock. Here's 7 o'clock. You could approach it from 3 o'clock, go to 6 and 7 that way. Ooh, that's a weird one. That makes me feel nauseated and gives me a little headache. Isn't that interesting, right? Like my eyes, I think, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just sort of sweeping towards that 7 o'clock from my 5 o'clock. It's legit giving me a headache. I feel nauseated. And I didn't die. Like, I'm objectively safe, right? Like, sometimes we just have to ride these waves of discomfort and get our system gradually exposed to stimuli that it perceives as dangerous. And we gradually expose it in a very safe way. And as we nudge in respectfully to the edge, not bulldozing past, but just respectfully in, we can lower the activation level, the arousal, the energy of our nervous system. So it's been a minute here. Who even was it that I'm speaking to here? Conrad, are you still here? Is that helpful? Let me know. So yes, Tony, we emailed. Let's set something up. I think it would be a delight to meet you. Angry Peach, yawning is contagious. I'm happy to help you de-escalate your own nervous system. Oh, good, Conrad. I'm so glad that was helpful. Fairly Facale knows someone who starts twitching severely as soon as they lie down. It's the whole body, so it's not restless leg system syndrome. Being stressed out makes it work worse. Can this be an example of something being stuck? Yes, and it's also, I think, credible evidence, proof that the body at the same time while being stuck, it's trying to resolve it. I wouldn't say it hasn't yet found its way to resolution, but twitching is, as I understand it, a deep neurological example, attempt of trying to wake up from a freeze, right? If a system is locked up in a freeze, the twitching is a way to neurochemically change the muscles, right? All the actin and myosin, it gets all locked up. And then the twitching is like this neurochemical electrical jolt signal that kind of gets things going. You experience it, I'm sure. Have you ever seen anybody ever drift off to sleep and then they jolt themselves awake? That jolting is the body's deep efforts and work at clearing out residual stress chemicals from the day that are high energy, right? Like as we're going into our day, there's more excitement, there's more arousal, there's more activity. So we have these like higher chemical states. And then at night when we go to sleep, unless you're a swing worker, at night when you go to sleep, you need a lower state of arousal. So the twitching is the body's attempt at resolving the dilemma of I want to be in the mode of sleep, but I still have the mode of awake chemically going on inside of me. So I actually hear it as a quite a brilliant thing. So, all that being said, welcome to today. We're already 31 minutes in, and I'm doing an official introduction now. My name is Dr. Renee Ostertag. I'm a licensed physical therapist and an unlicensed psychotherapist in the state of Denver, Colorado, USA. I'm a nervous system ninja and I give people education and provide training to develop the skills for you to become a ninja yourself. Oh, let's email about your friend. So, my disclaimer, this is not officially medical advice. This is strictly educational in nature. So, if you do have a medical health concern, please reach out to an appropriate healthcare provider for you. I am an appropriate healthcare provider for many people, not everybody. But if you'd like to work with me, I would love to work with you or at least meet and we can see if it's a fit to work together. I offer a free 20-minute consult over Zoom or the phone, whatever your preference. So if that's something that you need, please know I'm here. Owana, I validate that it sounds like it sucks for your friend. I hear that. Nicole Geo. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say one more thing. The goal of today's talk, besides all the fun stuff we've already been talking about, is to explore how important it is to choose your body for optimal health and how difficult it is and what I'm doing with a patient of mine right now to work through that. So it's pretty exciting. So Nicole just got on. Hi, Nicole. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. So excited that you get a song. I don't know what I'm doing sometimes, but I'm trained in improv, so I go with it. Nicole, there's your song. You just got on and you're curious if I spoke about chronic pain and what type of therapy do you think is best for that? I went into freeze, then shut down, and I've been shut down for weeks now. I'm in pain. Oof. So that's my body saying, I get it. That's a sucky, difficult situation. And I know it well, personally and professionally, working with people. And in my experience, there's usually not one shotgun approach that works for all people, nor is there one shotgun approach that works for any one person. In all of that, I think healing is like going to a buffet and or a cafeteria, right? Like there's so many choices and it can be extremely overwhelming. What do I do? And in my experience personally, and what I have seen work with people, is that the most important thing is to lean into the voice deep inside of you that knows what to do, where to go, who to see. And that voice of deep inner knowing and wisdom can be really tricky and hard to find, especially when there's a lot of fear going on. And so if you can't find that voice within yourself, lean into a trusted, safe person that you know objectively has your best interest at heart and talk it out with them. Explore your options, do research, learn. And it can be really hard because when in like constant pain and like a freeze shut down, the pain's your body's way of trying to wake you up, wake your system up, right? And like pain is a beautiful, beautiful, difficult teacher because its underlying positive intention is to motivate you to change behavior. That is the whole like underlying positive intention of pain. It's to motivate you to change behavior. Hot stove, ow, motivated, move arm. So when I hear pain starting after a freeze shutdown, the body's trying to get you to wake up, to move, get back into nature. Find some music, find some way of engaging with life, right? Like after winter comes spring. Like spring starts with tiny little baby blossoms. So start looking for baby blossoms of joy, of delight, of anything that's even remotely interesting to you, and follow that. And then follow that and follow that. And healing is like this weird circuitous breadcrumb path. And I think the most important ingredient is to trust your inner knowing. And if you can't find your inner knowing, lean into somebody external who you trust, has your back, listen to them, and start to grow access to that within yourself. C.H. Dante needs some improv training. Oh, yes. C.H. Dante, where are you? You might have already told me. I'm not remembering in this moment. I will tell you all, improv changed my life. I mean, a lot of things have changed my life. I've done a lot of work. I have a lot of trauma history, and I'm really proud. I'm living quite well now. It doesn't mean it's like perfect, but um, the thing that improv did for me is that it helped me change my relationship with the unknown. And I found the unknown utterly terrifying. Terrifying. And I am delighted to say that with improv, Austria, oh, Sie sind Deutsch. Oh, CH Dante, wir haben nicht Deutsch gesprochen zusammen. My parents were born and raised in Switzerland. I grew up speaking German and Swiss, so it's always fun for me to get to speak with other people. There's some books, actually, a friend of mine, Ben Winter, he wrote a book on improv and life. And so, bitte Rona, Sie sind aus die Schweiz. Wo sind Sie, in the Schweiz? My mom was raised, just outside of Zurich, and my dad was raised outside of St. Gallen in a little town called, Amriswil, and we've got Conrad, an Austrian living in Germany. I love getting to connect back to my roots with you folks, my friends, right? This is unknown, and I'm having fun. And this right here is evidence that level 3 living is available. What do I mean by level 3 living? Graubünden. Ich weiß jemand von dort. I'll have to ask my sister, Graubünden. But you're living in San Francisco. That's weird. I was born and raised right outside of San Francisco. Rona. We're like dialed in together. Okay. I really do want to get to my point. I'm having so much fun with all of you today. 16 people and lots more later. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Level 3 living. This is what improv did for me. I had a nervous system that was terrified of the unknown, terrified, and I would be in a freeze state for like so much of my life. And yet I was still effective, but frozen underneath. Talk about exhausting. Okay. So, level one of improv is this phase where it's unknown, it's scary, and you're ineffective. Level two, it's unknown, it's scary, but you're effective. Level three is it's unknown, it's scary, and that's exactly what makes it fun. And when my improv teacher told me that, it was like my whole world blew open because I know that life is unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. It's scary. Like that's the most common experience for all of us if we're telling the truth. And for many of us, we're rendered ineffective. That is not a character flaw. That's just a whole bunch of life circumstances happening, right? And we're rendered ineffective. And I think any kind of pain, mind or body, the body's trying to alarm us, to notify us to change a behavior. What's the behavior change? Learning skills on how to navigate your own mind and body, why you want to become a nervous system ninja, so that you can become more effective in the face of the unknown and scary, right? You can shift from ineffective to effective. And I'd been living back and forth between those two levels for a long time. But then when he planted the seed that level three living is possible, it's unknown, it's scary, and that's exactly what makes it fun. It was like this. I just didn't even believe that that was possible, but his lived experience was credible evidence for me that it's proof that that can exist. And I want to offer that all to you today, that the unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. It's scary. It can become more fun. Like terrifying can be fun, which is very weird for myself to hear myself say out loud. Grüße. Oh, Jona 8859. Grüezi von Zürich. Sally, Sally, Sally. Meine Schwester ist gerade in der Zürich gsi. Nein, nein, ja, Lausanne ist sie gsi und dann ist sie auch zu Luzern gsi. Meine Gotti wohnt in Hergiswil. So, and then we have some other family friends right outside of Zurich. Thank you for letting me speak in a different language. I think even in and of itself, speaking a different language shifts my nervous system in ways that's really flexible and fun. Okay. I'm going to answer Angry Peach's question. And then I want to talk about today, how on earth, how do you choose your body when it feels impossible? Okay, Angry Peach. How do you come to the belief that you can heal anything body related? I don't really believe that. And even if I did, it would seem too overwhelming and confusing as to how to actually heal. I think there's two parts that I want to answer this question in. How do you come to the belief that you can heal anything body related? I don't really believe that. I don't think you need to. I don't think that you need to. I think that based on your painful past learning experiences, why would you believe that healing is possible? Why would you? All of your credible evidence suggests that healing won't happen for you. I know that place so painfully, intimately well. So I would offer that you don't have to believe anything. If you want, what's available for you is to choose to believe that healing may or may not be possible, but just start with believing that it may be a possibility that could exist on the planet. It may or may not have to happen for you, but it's a possibility that could exist in the world. And then if you wanted to explore that, and that's honestly why I have this tattoo on my arm. It's a woman, a little feminine little prince, and I have a flag, right? I put my flag in the ground and I chose to make a decision to believe in something that was important to me. I didn't believe it at the time, but I made the decision. And then I kept living my life and living my life and living my life and looking for evidence of that decision. Right. So I think that goes into part two, that you don't have to believe it. You can choose to believe it and look for evidence that suggests that that's possible, and just start in other people and notice that when it happens in other people, you're seeing it. Right. And if you spot it, you got it. So if it can happen for other people and you're seeing it, that is credible evidence that somewhere in your nervous system, the capacity to heal is available for you as well, specifically for your human system. And then you don't need to be the one doing the healing, right? That's, of course, overwhelming and confusing. You don't need to heal. Your system knows how, and you don't have to understand it. Every time I cut my skin, it heals. How? I don't know. My only job is to consider the possibility that that is objective truth. Healing happens. And I can lean into, if I choose to, I don't have to believe that somewhere in my system it knows how to heal. And I don't have to be responsible for that. That's kind of profound. Oh, Spotlight Impact Data Design. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to see you. I know I've seen you before. Creation coach. I'm going to go back to your comment at some point. Maybe I'll do that now. Creation coach, I'm going to email you. I see you and I know you're here. So, okay. Where there is a will, there is a way. C.H. Dante. For each illness, there is a cure, and we may or may not know it. And I think that's utterly beautiful. And okay, I want to tell a story because this is what I've been wanting to get to. And all of you are helping me get there, because when we're stuck in a state of persistent distress in mind or body, the natural consequence of that is to fall into the belief that I can't. It's not possible. It's not available for me. Amateur contour. I know I'm getting that right. How do we manage the painful cervical radiculopathy without surgery? I've helped a lot of people for that. I would love it if you emailed me and we can set up a free consult, because, let's start there. info@GreenTreeMind, or go to greentreemind.com and you can set up a thing, free consult. Okay. This woman comes in, she's around 30. She's had back pain since 13. She does not know, for the most part, life without back pain. She's had episodes, maybe a couple weeks here, a few days there. One stretch was a few months, and she didn't have back pain. But by and large, this woman for 17 years has the identity of somebody that has back pain. Amateur, you're welcome. Amateur, contour, I like your name, whatever it is. I'm not saying it right, but thank you for being here. I do appreciate it, and I'm glad you're here. Can you imagine having a lived experience for 17 years, right? Back pain. Of course, life doesn't exist without back pain. Duh. Like, that's her credible evidence. That's her lived experience. That's her proof. Okay. So she comes to see me, and now it's my job, I think, to hold space for another possibility. I've been doing physical therapy for over 23 years. I've been doing psychotherapeutic work officially for like 8. And so I have this pretty good grasp of the mind and body and how they intersect in others and myself. And I still get caught up in these anxious vortices, right? And underneath the anxiousness for me is helplessness. So this woman comes in, 13 years of back pain, nothing's worked. She's tried everything. She found me through her doctor and another PT. And it's like, can I need to see you. I need to work with you. And then it was like, yes, I can help you. And then a year later, she was ready and she came in and it was scary, right? It's expensive. Do I have the money? I don't know. So there's all this like fear. And she comes in and she's got this like back pain problem. How on earth is it possible to choose your body when your perception is that it's been stuck, betraying you, hurting for 13 years? It's like impossible. And so for her, the idea of having a peaceful, synergistic mind-body relationship is not available. And that's fair. And in the course of 3 or 4 sessions together, I get to know somebody, and she was sharing about how, um, Oana, you're welcome. Thank you for today as well. She's sharing about her marriage, and it's a really good marriage. Like, her and her husband really respect and love one another, and it's very life-giving for her, and he's a positive resource for her. I said, I find that interesting that when it comes to marriage between mind and body, specifically with your back, like it's not working well for you. Her words, I want a total body replacement. Yet your nervous system has the capacity to do relationship really well when I look at your marriage. I said, that is a positive past reference point for you. PPRP, positive past reference point. What is it that you do to contribute to a good marriage between you and your husband? And would it be possible to take what it is that you do that works well there and apply it to this concept here where you haven't yet applied it? Okay, so I'm doing this whole series on choice. How do you choose health? I think it comes down to a few steps. Number one, do you want to choose to accept your body, mind, life? Do you want to choose to tolerate your body, mind, life? Or do you want to choose to reject your body, mind, life? And what we've been talking about is rejection, unless you're ready for suicide, is taken off the table. It's not available. You can't reject your body or your mind or your life unless you're ready to commit suicide. So then you're left with these two options. You can tolerate your mind, your body, your life, or you can accept your mind, your body, your life. To ask somebody to accept a very difficult circumstance will feel impossible. Thank God feelings are valid, but not objective facts. Okay, so it feels impossible, but it's not. The key step after making a choice, put your flag in the ground, folks. I have ink on my body. It's that important. Make a choice to accept or tolerate. If you choose to tolerate, I have zero judgment. I support you 100%. I promise, in my experience, it's a guaranteed recipe for long-term suffering if you tolerate your body, your mind, your life. So if you want to make it better, you choose to accept it, even in all of the hell that you're living in, which is not an easy thing. I validate that. So you choose to accept it, and then you start with considering the possibility that maybe there's an underlying positive intent here. I'm seeing comments come in from Emanuela Apostoliki, and I'm so sorry for butchering your name. It's good. So we're going to say, I'm going to choose my body. And she works with animals, and the body can heal itself. Animals don't have this whole human thing where we're like wanting to reject and tolerate our body. They just accept what's happening. They accept as it is. And as they accept, healing can naturally happen because that is an indwelling capacity that lives hardwired inside of us. They just intuitively let healing happen. So I'm an animal, right? I'm a mammal, I'm a human, but I'm more complicated than my dog because of this giant neocortex that is a wonderful resource and gets in my way all the time. And that's okay, right? It is what it is. I'm going to talk next week about choosing to accept my own mind. I'm wanting to talk about this patient and how she chose her body, but it's like, I don't want to choose it. It's hurting me. Okay, well, let's assume there's an underlying positive intent, that it's acting in a way that's trying to protect you and keep you safe. Right? Does it need more support in how to do that? Yes, but the underlying intention is that your body doesn't want bad things for you. Your body wants good things. It just needs support in being able to actualize that. So the thing you want to do is assume positive intent. And then the next thing, and this is what this patient of mine did, 17 years of back pain, has a great marriage with her husband, a terrible marriage between mind and body. I said, okay, PPRP, past positive reference point. Where in your past do you do choosing well, right? She chooses her husband chooses her. And I said, so think about somewhere in your system, you have capacity to cope and generate the kind of life outcome you want to have. So she left thinking about, that's true. Like I do marriage well between my husband. Maybe I could do marriage well between my mind and body. She comes back a week later. This is her chart here. I do paper charts because I like them better. She says, I thought about it for a week. And when I got married, we actually did a little ceremony and we had 3 ribbons. And those 3 ribbons represented the 3 pillars of our relationship: respect, appreciation, and support. And she realized, when I think about my own body, I'm not respecting it, I'm ignoring it. I'm certainly not appreciating it because all I'm doing is beating it up for hurting. And it doesn't have the support that it needs. And that was beautiful because now we have some material that's personal to her, that's relevant for her, that works for her. And it built a good marriage between her and her husband, so we can certainly take those skills and apply it to her own body. And we started exploring where she actually does support her body, where there is evidence of her appreciating it and respecting it. And so now we're starting to plant some new seeds that are going to allow her to choose her body in a new way. So if you're stuck somewhere, those are kind of some thought points for you. Where in your life experience from start till now have you been stuck before and you got out? That is a positive past reference point. And think about that. Reflect on that. What did you do to get unstuck in that other context of life? Celebrate yourself, appreciate you have the ability to get unstuck in a different context of your life. And that is a PPRP, past positive reference point for you, that can build confidence in your coping skills. Because if you've done it here, you can certainly apply it to another context of your life. All right. Brent Green, good to see you. Welcome. I saw you come in a few minutes ago. I've been talking. I am convinced that my unique methods help patients deal with chronic pain and suffering. They're effective and enduring. Yeah, Brent is a beautiful man that I know, that I've had the privilege to know. And he says he's chosen, right? Brent chooses health through choosing his body, through choosing his mind, through choosing his life. We're going to talk more about choosing your own mind next week. And then the week after that, choosing your own life. And then the week after that, choosing your own relationships. Like when we choose, we're reorienting our trajectory towards greater health. Good morning, my kingdom for a horse. It is great to see you. Swing eighth. I would be glad to define tolerating versus accepting. Tolerate. An easy example is, let's say, a marriage, a partnership between two people, and you don't like everything about them. I can think of an example right now, somebody in my life, they're in a marriage. They're tolerating the marriage. They're tolerating their spouse. There's so much there that they don't like about their spouse. They're not willing to separate. They're not willing to reject, right? They're not willing to get a divorce. So they want to, but they're not willing to do that. So they're not going to reject the marriage and the person. They don't like the person in the marriage and all that's there. So they're not choosing to accept it. So they're just tolerating it, right? Because it's very familiar. It's chemically comfortable. Better the devil you know. It is uncomfortable to do something different chemically. It's uncomfortable. Your system's used to the chemicals that you live in and it likes them and it wants to stay safe. And so, better the devil you know, like, okay, this sucks, but I know it. It's familiar, right? As opposed to something unfamiliar is chemically, physiologically terrifying. So to choose to accept something means, okay, this is what is here. I don't like all of it. I certainly don't want all of this, but I'm going to choose to accept that this is here. This is what's happening. And now what can I do with it and about it? I think that's the difference between accepting and tolerating. Tolerating is like, okay, it's here. I'll just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just tolerating it. It's very passive versus choosing to accept is a very active approach. And I like being an active participant in my life. It's harder for sure, but it's also worth the reward in my experience. Um, let's see. Oh, cool. Some other people have talked about accepting versus tolerating. Tolerating. Angry Peach says coping with the condition and suffering. Bingo. Accepting is validating what you're going through, suffer, but try to understand and heal your condition. You're absolutely right, Angry Peach. Like trying to understand. And, I've been a good sleeper my whole life. And then my dad died. And for like a year and a half, my sleep was terrible. I ended up taking Matthew Walker's masterclass on sleep. And I learned more about what's needed for a good night's sleep. And the last like 3 weeks, I've been sleeping better again. And I'm so relieved. And I couldn't have made it better if I didn't try to understand the problem, right? Like the problems in my life, they might not be my fault, but they are definitely my responsibility if I want to have a better life experience in the face of problems. So, Angry Peach, I really like your definition. CH Dante says, don't tolerate. The mind doesn't have to identify with pain. Loosen the grip of over identification. And you're just hitting the nail on the head with that one, too, because these things can become an identity and like a very chemically comfortable, familiar problem. The struggle's real for people. Accepting doesn't have to be your future. You only have to embrace what is now. Yes, right? Just because you accept something as it is now doesn't mean that's always how it's going to be. It's very paradoxical and counterintuitive. Like, okay, I'm going to accept that this sucks stuff that I don't want is here. And it isn't until I accept it, am I then free to start shaping it, to become massaging it, to become something different. Naomi, hello and welcome. You're a bit late, and that's okay. I'll be here again next Monday at 10:30 Mountain Time. Azure, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're listening and chime in whenever you like. I enjoy the conversation. My kingdom for a horse. Tolerating creates internal conflict. It is a painful struggle of truth. Oh, yeah, internal conflict. And that's, one of the core things with this woman that I'm working with right now who has this back pain for 13 years. It's an internal conflict. And it's showing up in the tension of her back, which is creating that perpetual state of stuck and pain. And the pain's just trying to motivate you to do a different behavior. Rona, Winona, all of this is so true. I feel like at this point, I wake up in the morning and I check, if the pain is still there. And by that, I'm almost inviting it back in. Yes, that's such a natural, normal thing we all do. I wouldn't say it's helpful, right? Like there's this urge of like, is it still there? Is it still there? Is it still there? It's like, why aren't we doing that with our own health? Well, because we're not wired to. We have to wire that in. Like, yeah, people are constantly checking if the pain is still there. And it's in a way kind of, I think, respectfully, an indicator of a lack of trust in one's own system and capacity to heal. And that's very understandable, especially if you've been in pain for a while. But like checking to see if the pain is still there is kind of like pulling at a scab. Are you healed yet? Are you healed yet? Are you healed yet? It's like, I would if you just freaking let me alone. That's what the scab would say to you. And it's hard, like, because there's this almost like compelling urge to like check the scab, check the scab. And it's like when you got chicken pox or something, don't scratch it. Rona, if I could encourage you and anybody who's listening, don't scratch that itch. Instead, find your breath, orient to something in the environment, and look for where it doesn't hurt. Where does it maybe even feel not bad or even pleasant or good? This has been a lovely, lovely live with all of you today. I've so enjoyed this. Tell me, please, as we move towards wrapping up, what is your takeaway from today? What do you want to remember? What are you taking with you? This idea of building trust is a big one. Trust in your own human system, trust in your capacities, your human systems capacities, your coping skills. I guess I want to hear from you all what you're taking away and what I'm taking away. I want to think about that for a second. What are you receiving from today and what do you want to bring with you? It is possible to have fun in the face of the unknown. And I think journeying with other people is a necessary part of that. I've been deathly afraid of humans for so much of my life. I love you all, but you scare me. And I'm learning to have more fun with you. And part of being able to do that is trusting myself, my human system, and its ability to discern like who to engage with, who not to engage with, what to do, what not to do. I'm in a learning process myself. Rona is choosing the possibility of healing. Yeah, I think I'm still in a process of healing myself, Rona. I'm healing hurt that I've experienced from other people. And each and every one of you is guilty by association. Not one of you has hurt me directly. And yet my nervous system is anticipating being hurt by you because other people have hurt me in the past. People are unpredictable and they're unknown, but this like level 3 living can be it can be fun to connect with other people again. And I can not only be effective instead of ineffective, I can have fun doing it. I really enjoy all of you so much. Azur, you're taking away pain. That's delightful. I really love the ambiguity of that purposeful intentionality. Way to go, Azur. CH Dante, thank you. I'm sorry as well. And I've learned more and more to not make it wrong. It's part of what happens in life. Constant circumstances change, right? People leave, people die, people are mean, people suck. People hurt people. And the less I make that wrong and the more I can find acceptance in it, the more it lets me choose to lean into trusting my system as it interacts with other human systems. My kingdom for a horse. Sometimes pain helps me know myself better. Oh my God, what a gorgeous outlook on pain. I love that. Brent is seeking flow to address my pains, concerns, and anxieties. I find flow by total absorption in creating. That's really beautiful. All right. So, how do you choose your body when it feels impossible? Assume positive intent. We talked about that last week. And look to a place of PPRP, positive past referencing point. Where did you make a choice that was hard and it worked out for you? What were the skills that you did to do that? And lean into that, because that confidence in coping with the struggle of a choice is available to you. You've done it before, surely you can do it again. Next week, I'll be talking about how to choose your own mind when it feels impossible. And Marcus will probably have some fun things in store for you as well next week. This has been yet my most favorite YouTube Live. I want to thank each and every one of you sincerely, from the sides, top, middle, bottom of my human system. I'm floating and swimming in a grounded place of gratitude and appreciation for you. Much love, much appreciation. Azure, yes, it's true. Humans can be a scary bunch, but not all of them. Yeah, right? And just because it's scary, it can still be fun. Think about roller coasters. Humans can be fun. So yes, Azure. Thank you, Rona, Winona. Thank you, Azure. Thank you, Creation Coach. Thank you, everybody, for being here today and chiming in. This was very, very fun for me. I hope it was fruitful for you. If you have any feedback, if you have any specific comments, questions, concerns, email me at info@greentreemind.com. I wish you all a beautiful week, a lovely day, and we will see you next time.